So, who's gonna stop this downward suicidal spiral? The oppressed? Maybe.
Yeah, and while that's going on, the oppressors will be standing around on top of people, trying to figure out how to continue their catastrophe habits. They'll be like, "Woo! I just threw a water bottle in the recycling bin. The planet is saved."
Yeah, and socially conscious yuppie mommy will fight for social justice by shopping at Whole Foods and maybe like doing 4 hours of charity work at her church every week. The other 164 hours of her week will be for sleeping and sleepwalking through life.
Yeah. Gee, I hope my good intentions makes a big difference. And what's up with the whole go to college thing? You know, education as the answer to everything? That's so stupid. You take these tiny little humans, so young that they don't even know what's going on, and then you funnel them into a unidirectional, highly bureaucratized system that equates the apex of learning to something as banal as a university degree. Yikes. That's got to be one of the most unchallenged rituals in the whole world.
Hey, I'm trying to sleep. Is there a reason why you're using that megaphone?
Not really.
She kind of has a point. Where do we put universities in terms of taking care of people and our planet? Because what happens when you're in college? Maybe you take a few classes where you get to study poverty or the military-industrial complex or some other important problems. And maybe you even do some social justice work or attend a few protests on the side, but mostly you're there to study your major, which means you spend the lion's share of your time prepping yourself to become employable.
That's the program. You spend the majority of your time preparing yourself to become assimilated into the same systems that produced this disaster. Success in college basically means you've been granted society's permission to chase a life pattern of conformity and self-interest. Land yourself that full-time job, get married, buy a house and maybe a car or two, make a few babies, get a dog from somewhere. Be productive. These successful people are not encouraged to critically examine who they are being productive for, or even how their own labor can be used to undermine their own interests or contribute to someone else's suffering. The absence of any rigorous training to cultivate critical consciousness during their schooling years effectively stuffs that possibility.
Okay, maybe that's partly true, but I know there must be some people who finish college and then they try to keep up with taking care of the most vulnerable people in society, or they work to heal the planet and stuff.
Of course, but how do you think the sum total of that work compares to the global capitalist workforce's impact on social relations or the environment? Do you really think the current situation will eventually produce for all of us a more egalitarian world?
No.
College people are generally obsessed with just a few things: providing a bountiful fantasy life for their offspring, for example, making as much money as possible so they can fill their lives with amusements and material objects. In other words, their minds are caged by self-interest. After 16 or more years of socialization in the school system, the rules of the game are clear. Every man for himself. Best man wins. Following this logic, the college degree's primary function is symbolic. It marks the bearer as fully entitled to pursue a higher level of self-gratification.
This sounds really negative. Do you think people really want to be like this? Or is that just where the structure puts them?
I don't spend much time thinking about how conflicted, privileged people feel about their own selfishness. Maybe figuring out how to get human beings to re-examine their obligations to the world will be your contribution, Pinky. I don't know. But look, here's where we are right now. In the United States, we have almost 100 million people milling around who've done at least some college. And what exactly are they doing? Well, they're busy living their lives according to how they've been trained. They're workers, they're consumers, they are family people. More importantly, let's look at what they're not doing. For one thing, no matter how bad things get, they're not attempting a radical restructuring of social relationships. They're not interrogating the logic of capitalism. They're certainly not interested in challenging those institutional structures that have provided them with the legitimation with which they now use to reap privileges. Is this surprising? Or have all of these possibilities just been schooled out of their minds?